NFTs are taking the world by storm, and from what I'm seeing, there are two camps of people. One camp that are all in with NFTs. They really believe that that's how they're going to finally become a millionaire. And then there's the second camp that is very skeptical. They think it's all mostly hype and maybe even a bit of a pyramid scheme. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what NFTs are in very simple terms and really strip away all the fluff, giving it to you straight without taking sides. NFT stands for non-fungible token. So let's start with the term fungible. A fungible item is something that can be replaced by another identical item. So an example of a fungible item would be commodities such as the dollar bill, because a dollar bill can be replaced by another dollar bill. If I lent someone $10, I don't mind whether I get back that same $10 bill or another $10 bill because they're both the same. The same goes for goods such as oil, bonds, gold, and unopened items of consumer goods on store shelves such as boxes of cereal. So what about non-fungible goods? These items are totally unique and non-interchangeable. They can't be exchanged like for like. An example would be like your computer at home. Your computer has personal documents on it. It's specifically molded around how you use it. So you can't just trade your computer in for another computer and receive exactly the same utility. Another example would be land. You can't have two plots of land that are exactly identical. The Mona Lisa is also a non-fungible good because there's only one of them. It can't be replaced. So a non-fungible token is a unique and non-interchangeable unit of data stored on the blockchain. It's basically proof that you own a particular asset. And right now, most NFTs are used to sell digital art and collectibles. However, in the future, NFTs might be used to tokenize any real-world assets, making ownership of assets transparent and incorruptible. You might be thinking, why would I buy something that I can't physically touch? Digital products might be more common than you think. If you've ever bought a skin in a game with real money, then that is in some way similar to an NFT in that you're buying something that doesn't actually exist in real life. As the world is getting richer, the middle class is getting bigger, developing countries are becoming developed countries, and as a society in general, we have more disposable income. For pretty much everyone watching this, by the fact that you can even watch this video, your basic needs such as food, shelter, warmth, etc. are all probably already met, meaning that you can now spend more of your income on luxury goods. I mean, you're doing that already. We buy things not because we need them, but because we want them. We use the products we buy to express ourselves, to communicate to each other, to separate ourselves from the other 7.9 billion people on the planet, right? So for example, you might wear a football jersey of your favorite team to communicate to other people that you belong to that tribe. And someone might buy a new BMW or Audi, not because they need it, but because they want to communicate a message that financially they're doing okay. So NFTs can be bought in a similar way, in that they're communicating to other people that they belong to the cyberpunks tribe, for example. So owning what just seems like an image on a computer screen has so much more utility. It can give you access to exclusive communities, for example. Just like a blue verified checkmark badge next to an Instagram name means something. It gives that user authority, right? But NFTs can be utilized in other ways too. So NFTs are part of the Ethereum blockchain, where any kind of easily reproduced digital file can be stored as an NFT to identify the original copy, like photography, art, music, or videos. You can make NFTs from almost anything unique that can be stored digitally and holds value. They're like any other collector's item, like a painting or a vintage action figure, but instead of buying a physical item, you're instead paying for the proof that you own the original copy. So NFTs prove that you own something. So when you buy a house and get a mortgage, there's usually three parties. You, so the buyer, the current owner of the house, so the seller, and the middleman, usually the estate agent. And so firstly, you have piles and piles of paperwork to prove that the current owner legally owns the house, and then to transfer that house to you, it needs a whole load more papers, and the process is slow and complex, and that's why the middleman takes a fairly large chunk in the form of fees for doing all of that work. Basically, the process is slow and inefficient. The blockchain can help with streamlining this whole process and remove the middleman. So using blockchain technology, which is the underlying technology that gives NFTs its unique properties, you'll be able to see clearly who owns the house, how long they've owned it for, how many owners it's had, etc. And it really makes potentially hazardous financial transactions far more transparent and safer. So NFTs can represent not only digital art, which is what it's mostly used for these days, but it can also represent non-digital assets such as property ownership, deeds to a car, tickets to real-world events, tokenized invoices, legal documents, and even signatures. You see, an NFT can only have one owner at a time because the ownership is managed through the unique ID and metadata that no other token can replicate. So are NFTs all hype, or is it a legit technology that's going to pave the future? Well, firstly, it's almost certain that the metaverse, or virtual reality space in which users can kind of interact with computer-generated environments, is going to be the future. As virtual reality and augmented reality progresses, digital items are going to become more and more commonplace, and we are going to be living in more of a digital world than we are right now.
I am proud to announce that starting today, our company is now Meta.
The fact that Facebook, one of the biggest companies on the planet and at the forefront of this kind of industry, changed their name to Meta is a pretty significant signal that this is the way that technology is heading. Now, here's the catch. There are many, and I really mean there are a lot of NFT projects out there where the creators are just out there to make a quick buck, and that's really important to understand. That it's very likely that about 98 or even 99% of all NFT projects will be valued at zero within the next decade. It's quite kind of universally accepted that investing in NFTs is a risky game. There's a lot of money to be made, and there are a lot of people that are making a lot of money, but that's when the hype is generated. If your friend is making a lot of money from NFTs, they're going to want to tell everyone, right? But they'll probably be a lot quieter if or when they lose a lot of money. So are NFTs the next big thing? It's kind of hard to tell. We could be caught up in an echo chamber where there are a lot of people making big money, and those voices are echoing around the internet, making us believe that NFTs hold immeasurable value and are vital to continuing our current tech-focused path. But the underlying technology, the metaverse, blockchain, Web 3.0, virtual reality, augmented reality, the technology is all interlinked. NFTs are arguably the most controversial technology simply because of number one, the hype, and number two, the vast amounts of money that some people are making from them. But one thing I think is very clear, that our definition of what is real and what's not is rapidly changing. As consumers spend more resources into how they present themselves virtually, monetary investments into how we appear online will become more regular. As the virtual world becomes a bigger extension of the real world, the idea of spending currency on intangible goods will start to become far more normal.